so okay, they briefed you on it. Nice, great. So I'm gonna do my best to make this as conversational as possible. Yeah, just make yourself comfortable to the best of your abilities. I'm gonna make sure all the cameras are facing you. Let's do that. That was good. First, start off with just can you give me a brief description of what your experience was like here?
Yeah, when I came into this place, I really wasn't sure what to expect. My mindset was negative. My attitude was negative. My lifestyle was negative. I was really living a life of isolation. I'm a former military guy, so I spent many years in the Marine Corps.
Thank you for service.
Yeah, and getting out of the Marine Corps, there's really not but there is a lot of resources, but at the time I didn't take advantage of them. You know, my experience here for me, it was life-changing. I mean, it really was life-changing. I have severe PTSD from military combat situations, and for me, my safe way was to isolate, was to seclude, and I turned to drugs.
Yeah,
I was what you would call a hardcore drug addict. I never touched drugs in the Marine Corps. In the Marine Corps, I was dress right dress. I was your ideal post-Marine. But when I got out, I had a lot of struggles, a lot of mental health struggles. But coming into this place, working with this staff, really, it changed my attitude. It just changed my outlook.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I couldn't have done it without this staff.
Oh wow.
But I also had to do my part. I had to be engaged. I had to be accountable. I had to be responsible.
That's where that military comes out of you.
Exactly. And
that's great.
It's just, I didn't see myself living that type of life. But when you go through certain extremes or certain circumstances, those can be life-changing.
Yeah.
So when I checked into this facility, I could have went to the VA.
Yeah, exactly.
But I chose to come to this facility just because I wanted a different perspective. I wanted to deal with civilians who have experience with the military. The experience I had here was life-changing. It really was life-changing. I've been clean for 370 days, so I just hit my year anniversary about a week ago.
Great.
And for me to sit here and say that's what, I never thought I'd see that day.
Right.
I always, I want things now, and sobriety is not something you can have now.
Yeah.
Well, instant satisfaction, instant gratification. So you don't get that with sobriety. You don't get that with mental health either, but you need tools, you need people, you need support, you need medication. Those are things that really have given me an opportunity.
Yeah. Consistency.
Yeah. It's amazing that you see one day, then you see 2 days of sobriety, 3 days, and it just builds up. And once you get to 50 and 100 and 150, you don't want to go back to day one.
Yeah.
And that was my motivation, not to go back to day one. Yeah. I'm 54. I started cycling about a year ago.
Oh.
After I got out of here, I went and bought a nice road bike.
Yeah.
And since I've been on that bike, I'm just under 4,000 miles for the year.
Wow.
Yeah, I do 70-mile rides. I do 80-mile rides.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that before. I couldn't even leave my room. I couldn't even take care of my own personal hygiene. I couldn't. I just chose not to. It's because of the world I was in.
Yeah.
Wow. It's night and day.
Nice. That's great.
It's a night and day. And I come back here every Thursday and I talk to active duty and veterans.
Yeah.
I give back. And I want them to see that if you come to this facility and you put in the work, you can reap the rewards.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking proof. Because I have paper that says I was a hardcore $2,000 a month drug addict.
Damn.
And now my life is completely different. You know, I'm stable. I have my own place. I have, you know, pets. I have responsibilities,
Yeah.
and I have passions. So,
Yeah.
and one thing is to give back.
To give back.
To give back, you have to pay it forward. I mean, if you don't, you're missing out. I really felt like a shell of myself. I felt empty and hollow on the inside. I felt distant from reality. I felt lost. I didn't trust people. Separated from my family. My circle was so small that really it only included like 2 or 3 people, and that was by choice. I was so disconnected from life and from the world and from reality.
Yeah.
I had to do something.
Yes.
You know, I was heading down. You know, I want to live. You know, and I wasn't living. I was just surviving. So,
Well said. And to contrast that, and how do you feel currently right now?
it's you know, I think about it a lot. And like I said, I come here and I talk to people who are going through the same struggles I went through. I come every week religiously, no matter how I feel. If I've had a long day, if I had a long ride and I'm tired, whatever it is, I come. And I mean, my life has been changed. I have direction. I have purpose. I feel complete. And you know, I've had a tough year. I lost my father several months ago. I had a really bad cycling accident, which I was hospitalized. Broke several bones. I fractured several bones. And I've had many reasons to relapse, especially the death of my father.
Yeah.
And you know, I just, you know, you reach back, you take the tools that you learned in this place, and you apply
And apply them when you need them.
And again, I always tell people, you know, my motto is don't go back to day one and tear up the permission slips. People, if you ask them about me, they'll tell you I talk about permission slips. Tear up permission slips. And what I mean by that is, the father passes away. That's a permission slip to go get high, go get drunk, go do whatever. You know, tear them up, you know. Argument with the spouse, late on your rant, whatever those permission slips are that are negative, tear them up. Tear up the permission slips. And don't go back to day one. I could have never thought that I would get on a bike and just pedal for 60 to 70, 80 miles, end up in the same place I started and enjoy it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
I don't race to win, I race to finish. You know, one aspect is, and I came in here with a severe drug addiction, and I came in here with chronic PTSD. And what the staff members here, you know, they've worked with me, and they taught me how to separate the two. Even though both of them are real, don't use one as a crutch for the other. And so, you know, I came in here thinking I was going to focus on PTSD because I really didn't think I was a drug addict. And I was a drug addict. And, you know, it took somebody to look me in the face and critique, you know, my habits and what I do on a daily basis. And that person looked me in the face and told me I was a hardcore drug addict. And I needed that. I needed someone to be real because I was not being real with myself. I was using my PTSD as a crutch. And the staff here, I mean, I don't know how they do it. They come in the back door. You don't even know they're coming in the back door, and they get stuff out of you. And they learn how to like compartmentalize each part of your, you know, each part of your life that you're having trouble with.
Yeah.
So we would focus PTSD. We would not focus on the addiction. And then there'd be days when we just focus strictly on the addiction, because that honestly has been an issue for a long time. The classes, I mean, even though they seem long and boring, they're really not. You get a lot of handouts. You know, there's a reason that they do this. They don't just do it for, I can tell they don't do it for a paycheck.
You can't.
No, when I would go into the VA I would look at a calendar in the office of a clinician, and I would see circles on the paydays, and that would just make me, it would piss me off. Excuse my language.
No, that's fine.
And I'm like, I understand we have to work and we have to get paid, but when I came here, I see like the patients were the priority. Even with the nurses, with the techs, with the therapists, the chemical dependency counselors, they're good at what they do, but they're genuine. That's what I got.
That was the sentence.
I wish I could name them all. It's a long list. I mean, really. I mean, down to the housekeeping. I made acquaintances, friendships with the housekeeping because they're taking care of us too. They're working just as hard as anyone else in the hospital. But they were just good people. To the cafeteria staff, the recreational staff. Those are things that you just, you wouldn't think you'd come across when you're in here. But everyone I came across, like I said, the housekeeper, they ask you how you doing. They check on you. They care, Yeah, so the staff here is, they're really, really engaged in our health, in our recovery.
They even said it's like you can't do this job for just a patient. It's gotta be beyond that.
It has to.
You careful.
It has to. That's why I chose to come here instead of going to the VA. But I've been in PTSD clinics 15 times.
Okay.
I've been in 6-month facilities. I've been in 9-month facilities. I've been in 10-day facilities. I've been in rehab facilities twice. And twice because the first time I checked myself out because I just wasn't sure that I was an addict.
Gosh.
Even though I still was struggling with that. But this place really opened my eyes to the fact that, you have a couple issues going on.
Yeah.
And we want to address both of them, but let's separate them. Let's not use one as a crutch for the other. And once I got the drugs under control, my PTSD is more manageable. So I can actually function in life.
Yeah.
I mean, the staff here is just really. And whenever I see them, I've been out of here for a little over a year. I see them in the parking lot from time to time. They remember you. They don't forget. And I don't forget. So, yeah, really, I had a lot of one-on-ones. I had staff members make it a point whenever they had time to pull me out of the class and do one-on-one sessions.
Gotcha.
I had several one-on-ones. At least once a day, I would have a one-on-one session.
And you felt that you got a lot of those.
Absolutely, because that was my chance to, like I said, compartmentalize to get away from the chemical dependency part and go focus on the mental therapy part. I expected just to be in the group setting at all times.
Gotcha.
So they will pick you out if they see that, your needs require something a little different than what's going on at that moment. And they will take the time out of their schedule. And they'll stay late. They'll spend extra time with you. I mean, the class settings and the group settings are great because, you really get to listen to other people's stories that you can relate to. And you get to share your story that they can relate to. But the one-on-ones, they just a little more personal, a little more in depth. And that's where they really get to, like I said, come in the back door and get you to talk about things you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
We all have our boundaries. But I think if you come in this facility, you need to tear those boundaries down. You really have to.
That is easier said than done.
It is. Yeah, it is. And something I tell everyone when I speak to them is, I think for me, recovery began when I allowed myself to get uncomfortable.
Okay.
When I allowed myself to get uncomfortable, that's when my therapy really began. You have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You have to be engaged. And not every day is going to be a good day. You can't win this race in a day, but you can win the day. Just win the day. And when you wake up tomorrow, win the day. I would look at therapists with 20 years sobriety and I would think that's impossible. 30 years, impossible. Like it's almost to the point where why even put in the effort? Because I don't see the possibility of getting there. And what I did is you got to change your mindset. You gotta win the day. And that's what I tell my friends. I have a friend that's really struggling. He's on day 4 of sobriety. And I talk to him every morning. I win the day. Win the day. And then when you wake up tomorrow, win the day.
You're there for them every day.
Every day I call him. Yeah. And then I started talking to him about this place. And so I bring him with me when I come on Thursdays. And he's been coming every Thursday for about 2 months. And that's fine. He's fine. He's on day 4 today.
Yeah.
So that's huge. I mean, it's only at number 4.
It is.
But for somebody who's struggling with alcohol or drugs, 4 days is a lot.
It is.
And it's one day at a time. So I keep telling them win the day and just focus on the next day. And just, don't go back to day 1.
Yeah.
When you're on day 4, it's easy to go back to 1 and get back to 4.
Yes,
So
I see that.
So you gotta, that's where I talk about, you gotta try to win the day. You gotta tear up the permission slips. Because when you get to day 10, 20,
That's what I was thinking.
once you start growing that number, then it's, so look, you have pride. You have pride in yourself. You feel like you've accomplished, even if it's 20 days. You really start building those days. You don't want to go back to day. It's a period that all of us addicts and alcoholics go through. It usually lasts a month to 2 months. It's a lot of confusion, a lot of lack of focus. It's a lot like dreams about your drugs or alcohol. Dreams that you're actually doing. Oh, okay. And dreams that you wake up and like, damn, did I just relapse? It's so real.
Wow, I would never think of that.
Yeah, your mind is cloudy. You're recovering. So really the hardest part of this is getting to the first month, first 6 weeks. And it sounds hard, and that's where I go back to just, when you get up every day, just try to win the day.
Yeah.
It's such a simple phrase, but it really, and it's not easy. It's very difficult, but you have to try and focus. If you can, because it's tough, but you have to be engaged, and you have to kind of be accountable to yourself. I always tell people when you come in here, when you walk out those doors, life is still waiting for you, and it's going to hit you in the face hard. But what you learn here, you can use that as a tool in what they call the toolbox, and you take it with you. But when you come in here, you come in this place, and you do it for yourself. Don't do it for other people. There's a lot of people you think you can win back because you came in here, and there's a lot of naysayers, a lot of people who are going to think, well, you just did that, so you can save face with us. And I've heard stories where people come in here because they want to please other people and they want to pacify other people. And, don't do that, You come in here, you do it for yourself. And the real people, the genuine people, they'll come back around.
Yeah.
But don't do this for anyone else. Do it for yourself. I've been to a lot of therapies in a lot of different locations, and sometimes it all kind of gets clustered together. Options like ECTs. I didn't do that while I was here, but I know you guys offer it, and I would say that anyone out there who's really struggling with like massive depressive disorder, the ECTs, they can also be life-saving. There's DBT, I think.
That's another
CBT.
Yeah.
There are some individual therapies and some handouts and some worksheets that we did, and then group therapies too. Because, in the past, I've always kind of I've always been negative about it, because that's sometimes it turns into a competition. But here, I didn't really notice that. I really felt genuine. I feel people were being genuine.
Yeah.
Like, again, sometimes when you're dealing with the military, and depending on what branch they're in or what job they did in the military, sometimes there's embellishment. And I used to get turned off to that, because when you go to like PTSD clinics, those are usually pretty hardcore, combat related. So in those group therapies at the VA, I would feel like it became competitive. Who could tell the bigger, bolder story? And to me, that's just BS.
Yeah.
It really is. we as combat veterans, we don't really talk about it. And so I guess where I'm going with this is, in the group here, I actually allowed myself to be engaged. And I didn't notice competition. What I noticed was camaraderie. I mean, people like really getting people to open up and share their stories with a group of strangers, and actually have people engaged, involved. I say a lot of times when you come to this facility, when I came to this facility, a lot of times you would come across people, and it could be 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, and you may never talk to them or see them again. But that time that you did spend together was very beneficial for me,
Yeah.
and I think
Both parties.
beneficial for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the group therapy will give you a chance to kind of get uncomfortable, open up, talk about things that you just wouldn't talk about. You couldn't really imagine yourself talking about with perfect strangers.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Like I said, they do something here. I don't know what it is that I've been in these facilities many times, and it's something stuck. I think a lot of it has to do with the staff, with the program, and it's structured. Sometimes we don't function well with structure. Sometimes we function better in chaos. So this place, it really taught me. It didn't teach me, but it just reinforced the fact that, structure, accountability, responsibility, those things are important. And they're really important to recovery. We learn to function to the point that we prefer to live in chaos because we know that environment. Yeah, chaos is the norm. Yeah. So it's nice that they can take that thinking and they can change it. Even things that seem so simple, like playing games, painting a mask that, we did a project one time, we had to paint a mask. So the outside of the mask is, what do you think other people think about you?
Oh, wow.
So you might see like mine was a brick wall. Mine was red eyes for anger, the brick wall for boundaries. And on the inside is, how do you think about yourself? What do you feel about yourself? How do you think about yourself? So when you put the mask on, the inside represents you, the outside represents what other people think about you, how they perceive you.
Wow.
So when we got to do that, and it seemed like elementary at first, I'm like, really? We're painting this? I'm asking, it's Halloween? I mean, just simplistic thinking. But when people would stand up and tell their story, it was just interesting to see the way they thought other people would think about them. A lot of times when you come in here, you're nervous, but you don't want to show it. You want to try to be stoic on the outside, but on the inside, you're a mess. So that mask, I guess, like the mask painting project was pretty eye-opening. I would tell them, it's not an easy choice, and I understand that. It wasn't easy for me, but what I would say is you have to want to be here. You have to really try to be engaged. You have to let these professionals do their work. I think if you're really struggling with functioning in society, or you have an alcohol issue, or you have a drug issue, you can't do it by yourself. You need to be with a team of professionals. This is a facility that you can get that help. But my advice to you would be, you have to come into this space and you have to give them an opportunity. You have to take some time. You have to get away from life for a little bit and allow these people to work. You have to start working on responsibility. You have to work on accountability. But I would say when you come here, don't be afraid. Really, I know it's easier said than done. But I was afraid when I came in here, and I spent many years in the Marine Corps. Nothing scares me. But my advice to you is come in with an open mind. Let these people go to work. Have an open mind. Try to be engaged. And don't fight it. Don't fight the feelings that you're having. Allow yourself to open up. Be open to medication. This is the place to get your medication right. So come in here and get your medication right. Because when you leave here, the world's still going to be the same. But you know, if you're on the proper medication and you're taking it like you're supposed to, the benefits are you're gonna see the benefits, and you're gonna see them fast. I know I did. I was so anti-medication, and this is the place for trial and error. You can't do it by yourself. You need a team. You need medications. You need yourself to be involved. So my advice is be open.
Yeah.
Be honest. Be honest. The medication that I got here when I left over a year ago, I still take the same medication. Nothing's changed. You gotta know it's there for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it goes to probably some of my military background. You know, I'm a Marine. I did this. I don't need a medication.
Right.
I didn't have medication when I was in Iraq. Why do I need medication? You know. So when I was out in the public, I would put on that fake facade. I would lift the shoulders. You know, I would stand tall. I'd be stoic. But when I would go home and get behind closed doors, it was like, damn, you know, something's not right. You know, because I can't fight this war back home, and I'm not even in a war. So why, you know, I can do that, but why can't I do this? So I really struggle with that. Like, you know, maybe I'm weak, or maybe I'm soft, or maybe I wasn't cut out for that. But it's not the case. It's that mental health is a serious thing, and I think if you have an opportunity to do ECTs or CBT, DBT, and those things, they work, they help.
Mm-hmm.
Journaling, something so simple as sitting down and journaling.
Something about that.
Yeah, journaling. And here they really push you on that. They want you to. You know, for me, like if I have a bad nightmare, I'll get up. It'll wake me up, and I'll ground myself. I know where I'm at, but I'll journal. What I'll do is I'll change that nightmare to something positive. I'll read it once or twice and go back to bed. And it works. I mean, it sounds elementary, but it works.
Yeah.
You know, just to change your thought and journal about it, and then read it before you go to bed. Yeah. When I first got out of the hospital, it was a slow start. I kind of had to reacclimate myself back into society. I'm involved with my family again. I go to family functions. I'm really involved with my girlfriend's family. I'm just like part of their family. I'm active. I mean, actually, I'm active. I have 3 dogs, and they're like my kids. We have an empty nest. So, my life. I mean, I can feel enjoyment. I can feel satisfaction. I can feel fulfillment. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I'm strong, physically, mentally. And I'm just a happy person. And I still have my moments. I still struggle, but I know how to deal with that. You know.
That's it.
I have what I've learned here, and I literally use it every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just a better person to be around. I don't have so much anxiety. I don't have so much aggression. I feel safe, you know. And I don't know if people use that word a lot, but I feel safe. You know, my life is it's really changed. And like I said, I've had some traumatic things happen in the past year, and I've handled them, and I was capable of handling them. I want to see things get done. I want to make sure that I'm involved. I want to make sure that I'm around my family a lot. I'm really involved. I've always been involved in my son's life. That hasn't changed, even when I was struggling with drugs. I didn't really get to see him. It was a 3-year period that I didn't get to see him. My life with him is as if nothing has ever happened. It's a miracle. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, this place saved my life. I don't know where I'd be without it. But I mean, I get to function like a normal person. I can go be with groups of people. I can, again, go get on my bike, and, you know, the camaraderie, the companionship. Life is good, you know. I mean, life is good. You can't just be alive, you know. You have to live. Yeah, I didn't really have a positive attitude when I first came here.
Yeah, naturally.
And I think that's everyone that walks through the doors is they don't want to be here. They're afraid. They have no idea what they're getting into. That's their thought. And I've seen, you know, because like I said, when you go to the cafeteria, you see groups of people from all ages.
Yeah.
And you know that you'll see in one week, and you'll see in the next week. You know, you can see changes in people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can see small changes, even if it's just on in passing.
Would you recommend our service to others?
I would. I would definitely recommend it if you have an opportunity. And I was given, like I said, I've been in twice, and each time I was given a choice of 3 or 4 different places to go, and I chose to come to this place. Even the first time when I knew nothing about it, I did a little research. When I knew I had to come back, I chose to come back to this place. It's because I knew this place was this was a good place. It was solid. The staff was solid. The criteria was solid. The structure was solid. And absolutely, if you're struggling with anything, with mental health, with drugs, with alcohol, open the front door, come into this place, and don't be afraid. It's not going to be easy, but don't be afraid.
Yeah.
You know, they will get you situated. They'll get you settled. They'll get you comfortable. And they'll get you on your way to recovery. They did for me. I mean, really, I don't know where I'd be.